Good morning, everyone. Today is Saturday, November 10th, Sunday, November 10th,
Monday.
uh, 2024, and this is a board meeting of the Board of Directors for the Continuing Committee. My name is Charlie, plain Midnight Lich on the forums. I am the Director of First Edition and the current chair of this motley little crew. I'm going to have everybody introduce themselves, starting with Adam.
Adam Barger, A Barger 7510 on the boards, Director of Ops.
Excellent. Next would be Justin. You're muted.
Hello. Yep. Justin for Resistance Future on the board, Director of Finance. And
Awesome. Chark.
Chuck on the board, Director of Second Edition. Hello.
And last but certainly not least, Maggie.
Hey, Maggie Gepper, Jadzia on the boards. I'm the executive officer.
Currently unable to join us today, or unlikely to join us today, is Chris Stonsby. Lore, he's in the cabin in the woods doing nature things. And the Director of Communications seat is currently vacant, but we will address that a little bit later. Our first order of business today is approving the minutes from our last meeting back in September. Has everyone had a chance to review those? Any comments or questions? Then may I have a motion to approve, please?
I will move to approve the minutes.
All right, and a second.
I'll second.
All right, anyone opposed to approving the minutes? Then they stand approved. Next, we will get into our department reports, and we will let Maggie, as our executive officer, lead off. So take it away, Maggie.
Well, since the last meeting, so period of review is coming up soon. So I did post a post into the period of review asking for comments about the question of who is a member, and we're basically seeing the same arguments we see every time we ask this question. Some people who are like, let anybody be a member, or at least let anybody who's played in a tournament be a member. And then other people who are like, hey, I don't think that actually counts as having skin in the game to have attended one one tournament in a year. Does that count as having skin in the game? And then the argument that if you have a forum ban, that shouldn't count against you for the purposes of voting in the period of review. So it's people, it's all over the map, and I don't think there's any consensus as usual from people from the forum members what should constitute a member for purposes of voting in the period of review. After that, I have been feverishly, I know, again, this is not part of my executive officer duties, but I have been feverishly assembling promos. So I've got got stacks. I've got 10 sets of Series T, I think Series T completed, actually more than 10 sets of Series T, 10 sets of Series, or 24, and those just need to get packaged. I keep trying to bribe my kids to package the ones that I have assembled, and they're like, I don't like money. I'm like, what? What kind of Americans are you? So I'll get those packaged and out to Remo as soon as I can. So, and we have other sets that are out. They haven't made it to the printer yet, but hopefully we'll get lead kits back to my house soon for assembly.
If anybody out there is willing to put some time in to help us make promos, please reach out.
Yes.
Because Maggie's
Yes.
currently doing all of it, and we would like her not to have to do all of it. So we can provide you with the what you need.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I keep meaning, I guess I should put this on my to-do list because I forgot until just now I had a request to do this, how to put together promos. We've had, Adam asked me that a while ago and I keep forgetting to make a doc that says, how do you do it?
Yep. Well, thank you for your report, Maggie. Anybody who's out there, please weigh in on what you think about the period of review and who you think should help get to weigh in on the board and all that. The more voices we have, the more likely we can get some sort of marching orders from you guys, the community. So, excuse me. Next is myself as the director of First Edition. I don't have a ton to talk about. We did release Twilight, Alternate Universe Twilight. I'm very, very, very happy with this expansion. Um, we worked very hard on it. I think there's some very cool stuff in there. Obviously, time will tell. Um, I haven't been able to keep up too much with the release event, but I've seen lots of good discussion and, the usual, hey, did you guys think about this? And we're like, yeah, kinda. And then we didn't quite word it right. That's just the way it goes sometimes. Um, we are feverishly putting the finishing touches on Project Bookend for our 30th anniversary, which is rapidly coming up. In fact, a week from today is our announcement live stream. Um, so I hope you'll be able to join us. We'll be giving you tons of information about what we're planning on doing over the course of the next year, and it's not going to be exhaustive. We're just kind of give you the highlights of everything, and then we'll be following it up with articles and videos and more information. But that's next on our docket, and we are firing on all cylinders internally. We have designs running, we're testing, new sets about to go into testing. Content through all of 2025 is moving apace, and we're getting into future content as well. And I am behind on Tribbles. I'm really hoping to still get something put out for April. But we will get it when we get it. So we are always looking for testers for both 1E and Tribbles. If you are interested at all in testing out new cards and making the game as good as it can be, please reach out. Oh, also, speaking of things we're looking for, we are looking for someone to take on managing traditional play in 1E. We are very much looking to expand our available resources for traditional players. And in our mind, a traditional player is somebody who does not use virtual cards or modern rules. They want to play the game that Decipher left in 2003. We're going to be supporting you, but we would like to have somebody who comes in and who sort of takes on that responsibility to sort of make sure that the resources are being allocated to stay on top of the different, like we want to have an option on the website so you can toggle that you're a traditional player and then you just kind of don't see virtual stuff, or at least you see the traditional stuff by default. So we're looking for somebody to sort of come in and manage all that and make sure to keep the traditional players at front of mind when we're making decisions moving forward. So if you're interested, please apply. That would be fantastic. So that's pretty much it for 1E. Did anybody have any questions? Okay. I will send it over to my bearded brother from Germany, Chark, for our 2E report.
Yes, on the TUI side, we prepare the next set. It is at the final stage of playtesting, and I think it will go in production at the beginning of December. And at the same time, new sets going to playtesting. So at the beginning of December, maybe I think first Friday, we will start the production with the Project Hamlet. It will take a little bit longer, I guess, simply because we have Christmas ahead then, and I will give the people enough time to celebrate with families. And beside that, we have a little surprise celebrating 30 years Voyager, I think, in the middle of January. So that is the next two big projects we have. Um, Two sets coming nearby. I expect them to show up in a quarter of year both. Uh, Going to production with the next set. What you can expect this year, I guess, too, is Cindy affiliation at least going to play testing. That is one of the long-term or mid-term agendas that we have new affiliations or new sub-affiliations every year. So for 2025, it will be the Cindy. At the same time, we address some problems. I gave that to the design team, where we think there are some problems in TUI, avoiding dilemmas like we had changed with the radar field studies. So we monitor that closely and see if we can do something with on the design side, monitor multiple attempts, unstop people. That is things going to design to be show up and going to play testing was one of the next set to make the game a little bit more interesting and a little bit more balanced. Yeah, that's all at the moment from the TUI side. Any questions?
Excellent. I'm glad you guys are doing Zindi next because they're kind of coming one-y at some point, and I want you guys to have that one first. So, um, although I think we're going to beat you with we beat you with a Zindi mission. There was a Zindi icon mission in 1E, and minor spoiler, there is a Zindi dual affiliation personnel coming soon. So we'll beat you to a card, but not the proper affiliation. So
yeah, it was a new affiliation is always challenging, and we had
absolutely.
that with the Widians, and it took time. It has to be tested. But in the long run, I really plan to have new affiliations or new sub affiliations, and there's a lot of stuff we could do, but it's always a question of manpower and having the right idea. It is useless to design a new affiliation that does not have a special flavor, and that makes it more challenging. And then comes the time for testing, and I
Yep.
think when you have the idea, it's an easy way, but the production takes time. If you have an idea, it goes to from the design part, it works, but having play testing and see some gaps and mistakes or so, that's a problem. Yeah.
Yeah, I think when we did the Vulcans for 1E, it was over 2 years, like 2.5 years from concept to release. So it takes some time. So.
Yeah, we had Luidians. Luidians was a little bit more than one year, 1.5 year, I guess. But if you say, okay, a new aviation, at least going to play testing every year, then you have a time frame of round about 1.5, 2 years, and that could work. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Now we'll head over to Adam and have our ops report.
Yeah, so exciting news. We had all of the raffle winning inventory transferred over to Remo, who had the time on his hands to be able to deal with that very quickly. So at this point, aside from stragglers where we're having trouble getting the contact information for one or two of the winners, at this point, the raffle winnings should all have gone out, which is a huge success. And I really want to thank Remo for stepping up and volunteering to get those out in a quick manner. On the programming side, right now we are focused. There are some website changes that are required with some of the 30th anniversary stuff that you were talking about earlier, Charlie. So we've got programming. Marcus focused on those so that we can provide timely support when those particular projects come out. Aside from that, just gearing up for a period of review, thinking about what we want our focus to be on in 2025. From my perspective, my main priorities I'm thinking are going to be, we talked about this a little bit earlier, simplifying the promo process in terms of reducing bottlenecks, single point of failure type stuff, pertaining to Maggie, so that tournament directors have the ability to get prizes when they need them. And then on the programming side, really diving into what's necessary to get a GEMP project going, because it's clear from the community that the lack of a real modern sort of tool for online play is a limiting factor to engaging potential online players. So I really need to dive in and understand what needs to happen to begin moving that project forward to something that's usable for the community.
Outstanding. That is good to hear. Getting the promenade caught up and then getting us ahead with our promo production, which is going to require a multi-pronged effort.
Yes.
We as the department heads have to be getting the promos ready earlier so they can be printed earlier, so they can be cut and then ready when we need them, not 6 months after we wanted them. So,
Sure.
and
And then,
that's no slight to Maggie. She's
right.
doing heroes work.
And then how can we provide stopgap support to tournament directors in the meantime if there does happen to be some sort of, schedule gap that takes place? I have some thoughts in that regard, and looking forward to start working on what we can do to prevent slowdowns in the promo availability process.
Excellent. Good to hear. All right, we do not have Chris here for an ops report or an organized play report. We do not have a director of communications, so we'll go last but not least to Justin for our financial status.
Yeah, wow, it's been a very busy summer and championship season closing out in August, September, which is awesome. Some of the highlights, obviously, from last quarter, our 2024 special buttons for high level play, courtesy of our Bell Riots event in San Francisco, courtesy of Deep Space Nine. Implementation of the trophy reimbursement for Continentals and Worlds, which thank you to Charlie for bringing that up, and glad we can make that and support the community with high level play. We did see increased shipping costs, alluded to what Adam's previous post of getting the raffle and the promenade all caught up, so that was welcome to see. Basically where we're at year to date. You naysayers may think this is bad, but we're fine. $2,800 in income for the year, $4,700 in expenses. A lot of that came from top 3 items are, of course, our playmats, which were about $650. The buttons were just shy of $700. And then the 30th anniversary project that Charlie's team is working on was just shy of $500. For all you naysayers, yeah, our monthly operating expenses, are only $168. That's the website, that's the fee for this Zoom account, and then of course our fee for our shipping account that's on stamps. Based on the $5,300 that we currently have in the bank as of 10/31, that's 31 months of basically operating expenses. And I have said before, we really only need to start being concerned when that number drops to below 24 months for cash on hand. So we are totally fine, as with most expenses have basically been paid for the year. And so we have, the rest of the next 6 months of the year through April 30th, and we'll see that number, that deficit shrink. As alluded to before, so if you're not aware, for our Continentals and World Championships, The reimbursement for 2025 will be $150. Please, you'll see the email in the forum thread and the process, but essentially we'll need the receipt for reimbursement and then your choice of method. Unfortunately, we use Zelle with our business account or can write a paper check. So a lot of great stuff. I'm glad we can do this and support the community and support our high-level organizers, because most cases that does cost a lot of money to put those things on. And so that's awesome. We're in a position to support.
All right. Thank you very much. Excellent. Let's move on to some old business. And I had put World Championships 2024 on here because I forgot that we had a meeting after the World Championships. But I will just, reiterate that I think those events were a big success. I know, Shark, you and your team have just responded to a bunch of the feedback from Worlds with errata. We're working on some changes with our 1E balance team, but pretty much all resources in 1E right now and for the last month or so have been dedicated to getting bookend done. So we'll be revisiting some of those decisions, some of the feedback from Worlds. But was there any other comments on the World Championships and what lessons we learned or successes or failures? So that's great. And we'll talk about 2025 Worlds shortly. Other old business, the search for a new director of communications. We will be posting the job position tomorrow. We are looking for a new board member to take on the director of our communications, and we've overhauled the position description to more clearly define what we're looking for and what the expectations are. And we're really looking to reinvest in the communications department, much like we did with the ops department with Adam. We are very interested in getting someone new to take this role. Adam joining the board was a real positive, getting a new point of view and a new perspective. The rest of us are old fogies, been around doing this for a very long time. So we're very much looking forward to seeing some applications from some newer volunteers, newer players, anyone who thinks that they're particularly good at social media to help manage our communications. And it's a two-way street. We definitely want that person to be in charge of our messaging outward, but also bringing feedback from everyone back to the rest of us. So stay tuned for that article and please consider applying because we would like to have you join us. So, any other comments? I'll just wait. I'll just finish the last 2 points and then ask if there are comments. As I mentioned during my report, our 30th anniversary kicks off next Sunday. We are celebrating the entire year. So from November to October of 2025, we will be doing 30th anniversary contests. There will be 30th anniversary tournaments. There'll be special 30th anniversary tournament expansion releases. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got 30th anniversary themed promos. It's going to be a big celebration of 30 years of this wonderfully beloved, complicated game that we're still duking out. And it's going to be pretty fun. So I hope you will join us for the live stream or catch it later. And you'll get a flood of content over the next 2 weeks from 1E as we post articles with all of the stuff that we've announced. So I hope you're looking forward to that. And as Maggie referred to earlier, we've been soliciting feedback on the period of review changes. Do we have a timeline, Maggie, for when we're going to make any decisions versus just run with it? So,
I didn't have one in mind, but we could certainly say by the end of the year. I think that's because the period of review usually begins January 1st. So, because it's always all the way through January. And then the voting is the first week, February 1st through the 8th. So it will so yeah, I would say we should have a decision on membership by the end of the year.
Okay,
I'll be
great.
able, if we make any changes, I'll put that into the article for the beginning of the year.
And excellent. Any other comments or any other old business that anyone would like to bring up? All right. In terms of new business, the only item I had on our agenda is our 2025 high level play. We have announced that Worlds in 2025 is in Germany, in Munich, in August. So I'm still trying to figure out if I can make that happen. I would really like to. Um, Somehow I accidentally got second place at Worlds this year, so technically I have a bye, so I feel like I should go and use it. But um, we're also still looking for European and North American continentals. So if you are interested, just contact Chris. Um, we call it submitting a bid, but I don't think it's nearly as formal as that. If you just message and say, here's what I want to do, there'll be some questions, and then we'll figure out where to hold it. So I'm excited. I think going back to Germany, I think uh, Johanna said it's the first time in 10 years that it'll have been in Germany.
2013, I guess, was the last one.
Yeah.
2010 and 2013, yeah, I guess.
So it'll be 12 years by the time it comes back. So it's been in Europe a few times since then. It was in Austria and the UK, but going back to Germany is great. There's so many German players. Kaiserfest has been a huge success, going on what 8, 9 years now. So it's going to be great. I just really hope I can make it over there.
I have just submitted my sabbatical application for the fall of 2025, so I could go to,
Nice.
well, see if I get approved.
I hope you do. All
Yeah.
right.
Although the kids are gonna be mad because I promised them the next time we go to Europe, we would bring them along, and that's not gonna work for them at that time of the year.
Yeah.
So
We've heard
band
the
camp.
feedback that it's not the best time, but it's just the only time it's available. So what we can do.
Yeah, and that's the way it's got to go a lot of times. I've had, when I ran it in 2021, people thought it was way too early, but I'm like, that's when I can host it. I can't host during the school year, and it's same for Johannes. So
But the feedback is good, and it is something I know we'll keep in mind in the future, that there's a preference to have it later in the year. So
Do we know if anybody's spoken up to Chris or Michael or Julius about Masters and Nationals for 2025, or are those still?
no, but bids are open for those. So I still have in mind the idea to put something together either in Salem here or Portland, because um, there's enough players in Oregon, it turns out, that we could support a group. We just have to get we're far enough apart that we have to plan on getting all together. But it'd be nice to see more and more events pop up. So if you're interested in running a nationals or a masters, contact Chris or Michael Van Vreeman, the Ninja Scott, or Julius, whose name is escaping me. What's his forum name? Going blank. I can't remember.
oh,
So
Julius is Clarisil TOB,
there you go. Thank you.
which stands for Traveler of Borg.
Nice.
I learned.
Traveler of Borg. Love it. All right. That was there any other new business that anyone wanted to bring forward? I will just drop this mild teaser hint. We are having some discussions about some really exciting changes that we hope to announce in a future meeting. So very cryptic, mysterious.
So mysterious, I don't even remember what they are.
Yes. Was there any other new business that anyone would like to bring forward? Also, at the same time, if you are still watching the live stream and there's anything that you would like us to comment on, please bring that up now. I'm watching the YouTube chat. we'll read the forums if you post, and then we have probably somebody watching Discord as well. So, but yeah, any other new business?
None for me. I'm not seeing,
So the
nope,
only
not seeing any questions or comments anywhere.
the only comment we got was from Faithful Reader on the forums. He wanted us to address what he called the Illyrian Enigma. Is that what he called it? Wasn't very clear. Our best supposition was that he was referring to information about the character number one that was revealed in the series Strange New Worlds. And we replied by saying it's not really a board level discussion, and he should bring that up with the individual game directors. So I just wanted to address that and acknowledge that the comment was made and why we were not actively discussing it. So, all right, I don't see any further comments in our YouTube chat, so I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll move.
May I have a second, please? Chark, I saw his hand
Yeah,
wave. He's still
me
muted,
too,
but all
yeah.
right. Anyone opposed to adjourning the meeting? All right, the motion carries, and we will end this meeting of the Board of Directors. You can expect at least one more meeting between now and the opening of voting of the period of review. I'm going to guess it's going to be mid-January, just based on difficulties around the holidays. But we'll have one more meeting before you vote. All of you out there have a great day. If you have the day off tomorrow for Veterans Day in the U.S. or Armistice Day or whatever it's called, enjoy the day. Thank you to all of our military veterans. Jark, appreciate your service. We're going to end the live stream now. So thank you very much and have